Hello, welcome to A Voice in the Darkness, and I'm your host, Gwendolyn Forte. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Whether you're at home or at the gym or outdoors, or maybe you're at work, wherever you are, I'm so glad that you tuned in to this week's episode. The purpose of A Voice in the Darkness is to encourage, to uplift, and to enlighten. And I say this all the time because many times in life we're walking through different transitions or challenging times, and we want to give up, or we say, you know what, I'm done. But I want to encourage you today, do not do that. You got this. You are an overcomer. You can make it. You can make it. I say this because I've walked through some hard times in my life, and God used ordinary people to speak to me words of life, words of encouragement. And my husband and I are where we are today because of God's goodness and grace. So I want to encourage you today, if you're listening, to just be encouraged. Do not give up. Do not give in, because you got this. You got this. Welcome today to A Voice in the Darkness. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, thank you for checking out this podcast. And for those of you who are regulars, welcome back. I've been away for about maybe 4 weeks just because of travel and different engagements. And I'm glad to be able to come back in July. We're in the middle of July, and I can't even believe that we're in the middle of July already. But if you are not following me, I want to invite you to follow me and check me out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Google, Castbox, or you can follow me as well on YouTube, A Voice in the Darkness, or check me out on my website. It's avoiceinthedarkness.live. Would love for you to follow, subscribe, rate, interact, and just tell me some of your thoughts, and I will get back with you. I do have one announcement that I'm super excited to announce. My husband and I, we pastor in Oklahoma. We're having our upcoming Emerge conference, and it's coming up September 18th, 19th, and 20th here in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Would love to invite you. Go check us out at www.kcemergeconference.com. kcemergeconference.com. Register. We're excited. We have Apostle John Eckhart, Apostle Joseph Prude, Apostle Lanice Reynolds, Apostle Sandy Norman, and Apostle Katria Dotson, and super excited about what God is going to do. A greater glory. Come on and register at the Stony Creek Hotel and just say Kingdom Church. You'll get a discounted rate, and we're excited about it. So yes, and yes. I want to dive right on into this week's topic because I feel like it's so important for us, during the summer months, throughout all the year, throughout the entire year, but definitely during the summer months. I pray that each and every one of you who are tuning in today are pulling away for a bit and getting some type of relaxation and rest, okay? So the title of today's episode is The Importance of Rest, okay? The importance of rest. This means even, vacations as well, okay? That's so important. My key scripture today that I want to talk to you from is from Matthew 11:28. And this is where Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Okay, this is so important because sometimes the rest that we need is not only physical, but it could be spiritual, emotional, and mental rest from all of the things that you're doing day in and day out, going to work, raising your family, right? Being a spouse, doing things maybe in your local church or in your community. And sometimes it can carry with it a lot of cares or stress. And sometimes we need to just pull back. And this is what Jesus is saying in Matthew 11:28. He's saying, "Come to me." So this is something, hear me. If you're listening, go back and read this passage and meditate on it. All you who labor and you're heavy laden, I will give you rest. What a beautiful promise That is a beautiful promise. And the first thing I want to say today is rest is not something that I made up. It's not something that you made up. It's not something that you just want. Rest is God's design. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of, man, you're failing. It is in the heart of the Father. It is his design. And we see this where in Genesis. And I want to read that. Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 and 3. Listen to me. It says, and on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had done. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work, which he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it because in it he rested from all his work which he had created and made. So we see here that after God created the world, God rested on the seventh day, and not because, that he was tired, okay? But for us to to understand that this is very, very important. And he established a pattern for us as humans, as sons and daughters, that rest is it's a gift from God. It helps us to remain healthy. It helps us to remain productive. And it will help us to be spiritually refreshed. And I can't tell you how much this is needed. And I know we all know it's needed, but working full time in ministry, sometimes we're working on different levels throughout the day. And it can be so exerting a lot of spiritual energy and prayer and heartfelt care and going to visit in the hospital and things of that nature, and just where you could get physically tired, but just emotionally as well spent. And I believe that is the will of the Father. It's a gift for us to remain healthy and to be productive and to be refreshed. So let me give you a way that we could do this, okay? Because if rest is God's design, and he wants us to do it, and he established it, and we see here in Genesis that he did, then we need to really consider, if you're listening to me, taking some regular time off. Not just time off, but regular time off. And I'm asking and presenting to you the thought of including vacations, okay? Because when you do this, it's a biblical way of honoring God's design. Well, Gwendolyn, I can't take a vacation. I don't have any money. You can't really say that. My husband and I, we made a promise to one another that even if we stay home in our home, or if we stay at a hotel within our city and do a staycation, we're going to pull away, right? Because rest is going to allow your body, it's going to allow your mind, your emotion, your spirit to recover. And I think this is so important, okay? And this way, when our body and emotion and our minds and our will and everything is recovering, we can serve God and others with this renewed strength. We're not weak. You can't give what you don't have. You can't pour into somebody something that you don't have in you. And I remember, my husband and I, we just came in from Orlando, from Florida, and we took some time. We're still traveling this month of July, but we spent 2 weeks there. But one of the things they said on the aircraft was, if anything was to happen, put your mask on first, and then put on the next person, the child, the minor. And I used to wonder as a kid, like, why would they tell the parent to put on their mask first? It was just seeming in my head selfish. But as an adult, I understand you can't do anything for anybody if you're not together. So when you rest, it's going to give your mind, your body, your emotion, your spirit time to recover. And now you can serve God and you can serve others with this renewed strength, okay? With renewed strength. And I want to just point out again, this is just another point I want to point out, is that Jesus modeled this. He modeled the importance of stepping away. And we see this in Mark 6:31. Jesus said this to his disciples, for those who maybe you don't have your Bibles out, but he said this. He said, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some what? Rest. This is what Jesus told his disciples. So even though there were many needs around him, there were many needs all around his disciples, Jesus still knew that continual ministry without rest is just going to lead to exhaustion. So why would he give that type of example that would be not right to his disciples? No, he gave them an example of pulling away, getting some rest, praying to the Father, but yes, resting as well and praying as well. Those are two separate things. I'm going to pray, and that's important, but then I'm going to pull away and get some rest. And it said it right here, and get some rest. Love, love, love that. Love this passage. That's Mark 6:31. So even though, listen, there were needs, Jesus knew the importance, that it is so important to get some rest. Because if you're exhausted and if you're mentally exhausted, you're not going to give anything out to anybody else but your frustration. Okay, so listen to me. This is how we can apply this. Vacations or retreats. Many of you maybe have thought about going on a retreat, or you've been invited to go on a retreat, or you saw a retreat being advertised on social media. Pray about it. Consider going, and just, it's going to provide intentional time. It's just not just, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. But no, be intentional, because it's providing that for you to step away from your daily responsibilities, to reconnect with God, to strengthen maybe your family relationships, or to return, back with fresh vision and a renewed energy. This is when you pull away. When you're pulling away for rest or vacation or retreat, all of these things can happen. You're just going to be strengthened in every way, whether it's just with your one-on-one with God, or maybe with your spouse or with your children. It's just going to be great, because you're going to have a new mindset. You're going to be refreshed. You're going to have vision. You'll be more focused when your energy is renewed, when your strength is renewed. My husband and I, we went, so we got time to bond. My two youngest kids flew out. We got time to bond. It's so important to do this. And so I want to encourage you, if you're listening to me, the importance of getting some rest. We are now in July. It's not too late. You still have this month. You still can do some time in August, and even throughout the year. Pull away on some weekends, or when we have 3-day holidays. We're going to have Labor Day in September. Pull away if you can, okay? Pull away if you can. And then I want to talk about how rest is going to refresh us to be more fruitful. You want to be able to give more, do more, and see all of that. And we're going to see this. And I want to read this to you from Isaiah 40. And my husband loved this passage. He quotes it a lot. But I want to read it to you in the New King James Version. It said, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." What a promise. And so those who are just really waiting on the Lord, you're going to have a renewed strength. And so rest don't look at it as wasted time, because it's not. It's not wasted time for you to sit down on that couch, for you to just sit back, relax, read a book, sleep, nap, watch a good program on television, listen to good music, or meditate, whatever it is. Okay, whatever it is. Rest is not wasted time, but it is preparation. You got to see it that way, for greater effectiveness. So just as farmers, right? They allow their fields to rest to produce a better harvest. We also need seasons of rest if we're going to, remain fruitful. It's just the way it goes. It's the way it is. So we can apply this, that when we're a well-rested believer, we're going to often really be, honestly, more joyful. We're going to be more patient, creative, discerning. We're going to be effective in ministry, family, and work than someone who is constantly running on empty. And I can speak from experience. I've been there. I've done it. I've been times where we didn't get a vacation and it just keep going straight through, and it's not a good feeling. I had 5, 6 really children in my house, raising my 6 kids, my niece And it was a lot in full-time ministry and working. And so I needed to pull away. And when I didn't, you're not your best. You're not effective. So you don't want to run on empty, okay? So I want to ask you some questions because you don't want to run on empty. Ask yourself, am I making biblical rest a regular part of my life? Or do I feel guilty when I slow down? Ask yourself that question. Are you feeling guilty when you get some rest? And are you even making biblical rest a regular part of your life? And then ask yourself, what practical steps can you take to schedule times of rest? And when I say this, this includes vacations and retreats. My husband and I, we do marriage retreats as well. Include that as well. We provide church retreats for our congregation, for our young adults. Okay? What retreats are you attending? Okay? What practical steps can you take to schedule these times to rest? And I'm asking you to include some vacation in there. And then lastly, how can you really be intentional, right? How can intentional rest help me better serve God, my family, and others? Ask yourself that. If you have intentional rest, how could that help you to better serve God, your family, and others? I can't answer that right now, but you think about it. You think about it. And I want you to hear me today because these questions are so good for us to reflect and to think about. And God never intended for his people to live in constant exhaustion. It's just not his plan. It's not his way. And rest is an act of faith, okay? It's saying that, God, I acknowledge you as my provider, and I'm acknowledging you as my sustainer. And every time you embrace a regular Sabbath rhythm, okay, you're taking time away when possible. And really, you're allowing God to refresh your soul. You're allowing him to do that. And then we're positioning ourselves to live healthier, stronger, and really, honestly, more fruitful lives. You're going to produce more. So I want to encourage you today, if you're listening to me, to really pull away. We're in July. We're in the middle of July. You still have time. You don't have to feel like, you know what? No, it's not happening. We're in the middle. This is July 17th. It's Friday. You can rest tonight. Do something on Saturday. Pull away on Sunday evening. Go to church and pull away. Listen, relax. Take a walk in the park. Schedule something. Maybe it's the first week in August. And if you have to do a staycation, do that. Just pull away because rest is so important. My scripture today was Jesus saying in Matthew 11:28, come to me, all you who labor. And if you're heavy laden, I will give you rest. I pray today that you heard something that ministered to your heart, that you understand the importance of getting rest, okay? Get some rest. I thank God for each and every one of you who tuned in on today. It's so good to be back to encourage each and every one of you. You can check me out on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Castbox, and download, follow, share it with somebody else. Write a comment. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you want to check our conference out, Emerge, a Greater Glory, on September 18th, 19th, and 20th in Broken Arrow, just register at kcemergeconference.com. I'm Gwendolyn Forte with The Voice in the Darkness, signing off. God bless you.